Hey, no time like the present. Shoo, wow, look at me. Whoa, it's me, look at me. It's a Janjo. Alive. Actual Janjo in living color. Hello. Welcome, ladies and metalfish. It is I, Daddy Janjo, back again to fix some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh yeah. That's the name of the game. We've gone through a lot so far, have we not? Look at all these chunky list of cards. Now, I did change one tiny thing, and that is Dark Scorpion Burglars. I changed his secondary effect to be special summon just from the hand, only because I felt like deck was a little for lack of better words, inconsiderate to the time being of the game. But I might change the Dark Scorpion or Dawn's Scorpion, Dark Scorpion Monster or Dawn's Zalug. That makes a little more sense. Bam. And if there's any ones we want to go back to, we can always go back to them. No problem with that. No worry on my end. Hope everyone out there is having a good time in their own life. I did so from last stream to before this stream. I did address Magician's Force and Dark Crisis. Last stream was specifically Pharaonic Guardian. But this stream, we're going to cover Invasion of Chaos, however long that may be. I feel like Pharaonic Guardian took a lot longer than some other sets, and some other sets took shorter or longer depending on the contents of the set, I think. But I think we should have a fun time. And I have something cool to show you all. But when I show that, it's up to you. And trust me, it's right over there. It is really freaking cool. You don't want to miss it. But before I show that, before I show like that really cool thing I got, we're gonna get some more likes on the stream. Or my new monthly goal, which is right up there. I trimmed it down from last month because last month, I suppose was too high. But this month I have a $10 monthly goal. Hoping we can hit that. Hoping we can reach that this month. I like to hit these donation goals. I feel like I put a lot of good content for people. Give me a little coffee money. Not asking for much. But I do want to get some likes on the stream before I show. 10 likes. I show the cool thing I got. But let's tackle. Let's go over the two sets I did off stream, which was Magician Force and Dark Crisis. So Magician's Force, Aitsu. I changed Aitsu to a level 4 because having both of them be treat monsters, that's too damn much. Yo, Boss Round, what's up? Yo, Janjo, sorry, man. Won't be on for most of the stream. I need to get my head down for work. Hey, no problem. Hey, look, the stream will always be around, the VOD. So if you ever want to check it out, have it in the background or something, sometime later down the road, it will be here. So make sure to drop a like before you head out, though. Let's see. Amazon's Blow Piper, I gave her more defense, just given her effect. I definitely want to check out the list at some point. When I'm finished with it, I would like to post it somewhere so people can like reference. But it's always kind of a list I can always change, but I would like to post it once I'm done all the DM sets and stuff so people can reference it and maybe like play their own fun little formats. Let's see, anti-spell. Remove 2 spell counters to. So I changed this to an Omni Negate instead of just whatever it was before. I think it was just like a spell card. Because spell counters need a little bit more going for them. Like, especially if you can get a pitch black stone. Armor X, I'm trying to remember what some of these I changed. I changed these like last week. So when it's summon, you put a spell counter on it. Still has summoning sickness. During your opponent's standby phase, remove a spell counter. So it's only one standby phase, and it gives itself one. So it'll at least stay around for your next turn if left untouched, which goes a long way to actually playing a 2K beater. Even more so if you it gives you a little more time to like ramp it up. Autonomous action unit, I pay 800 instead of 15 because it's I pay 15, right? It's essentially an enemy premature burial. Except technically it's worse because it requires your opponent to have the specific monster. Unions, I shortened a lot of the union stuff to just union in parentheses. But with Burning Beast and Freezing Beast, I upped their attack. So now they're both 17-12. Whereas Burning Beast, when he's equipped, when he's equipped to Freezing Beast will destroy a spell or trap card. Whereas when Freezing Beast is equipped to Burning Beast will destroy a face-up monster. So basically, I took like their idea and I just made it a little bit more. Well, I made it better. I mean, I'm fixing it. It's less specific because beforehand it was just like face-up and face-down back row cards. I feel like destroying one spell and trap is fine. The other one destroying a face-up monster get a little bit of balancing here, but like give one back row, give one not back row. I think that's fair enough. A Dark Core, discard a card, targets monster on the field, banish it. So this used to be, I believe, just face up, but now it's regardless of position. Dark Magician Girl, I made her effect. So when the card was, a lot of people may not know this, but when Dark Magician Girl was originally in development, its effect was that it gained, I believe, 400 for every spellcaster monster in the graveyard. I kept the 300 because that seems fair enough, but I changed it back to the spellcasters because it's terrible, honestly, just in regards to like Dark Magician and Magician of Black Chaos, which isn't even legal because it is not out by GOAT format. So like on release, you cannot even get off her full effect. So if you make a spellcaster monster, all of a sudden you have a monster that you can really splash in to spellcaster-centric decks. What have we done with attack equip cards in general? Well, it depends on which card you're talking about. If you have a specific card, we may not already changed it. Gather Your Mind, it's not once per turn. I kind of get what I was, right? Because, you don't want to make this like a tune table of contents, but like, why not, honestly? Like, doesn't do anything otherwise. It's just a worse tune tables. Kiryu, I gave Kiryu higher defense, so it can like stick around. Physical double. This is not requiring on your opponent's turn. It just copies like your opponent's monster until the end phase. Rare gold armor I made is a bit differently because is this rare gold armor I'm thinking of? Yeah, so rare gold armor was essentially what I had Ring of Magnetism be. So I had to change this a little bit where the controller of the monster with this card can only attack the equipped monsters. So the controller of the monster equipped with this card. Yeah, so essentially, instead of all monsters only attacking one monster, now you have a monster that's the only monster that can attack, which I think is kind of interesting. I was thinking more in the original generic ones. I didn't touch those just because we already have like sort of ramp ups with those, right? Where you get like the 400 buffs like invigoration and stuff, and then you get the more specific stuff like Shine Palace and insect armor and stuff that we don't get in the TCG yet, but like they exist. I didn't really change anything for like the LOB stuff or equips. Um, there's a couple of equips that we like change in this, like paralyzing potion. Some of the mask cards did get changed though. Mask of Brutality gains 1500. Because like some of them don't even need changes. But like Mask of Brutality gives you like a really big buff, but you do have to pay a lot of life points for it. So like we don't want to make cards kind of the same thing as just other cards. Um, but at least make them different enough where like you can consider playing them. Right? Buster Rancher was a little bit different. This gives the a weak monster like a really big buff. Less generic than its like normal effect. By the way, we're almost 12 minutes. We got no likes on this. This is criminal, guys. See, Senri I. See, once per turn during each of your standby phases, you can pay 400 LP. Which now you gotta pay a little bit more. Look at top of your opponent's decks, but now you get an option once you look at it. You can either return it to its original position, or you can pay 400 more for an 800 total to add the card back and shuffle the deck. So this goes off the effect of like looking at your opponent's top deck, but now you actually get to do something with it, which I think was important. Spell Cancer, I buffed up its stats a little bit. I didn't want to make it too high, but like 18 was just too damn low. Tribute Doll, just made it a little more generic, right? Tribute to monsters, but summon a level 7, but now it can attack that turn. No summoning sickness. Union Rider. This one took me a while to figure out. Because part of me wanted to make it like a Union monster, and I was trying to change like certain things about it. For one, I bumped up its stats a bit, and not basically that. Yeah, it steals a Union monster, even if like one's equipped, it can steal it, which is cool. It lets you get a little bit of a buff potentially too. In addition to that, its stats are also better for you to just like run it in a deck. Dark Crisis had a lot more changes, mainly because this one's a lot more archetype focused. By the way, if we get up to 10 likes, I will show off this really cool Yu-Gi-Oh merch I got. Just dropping that out there. Let's see. Yugioh, when it's destroyed to the graveyard, you can special summon a fairy from your graveyard. Way better, right? You get more like graveyard play with your fairies. Let's see. Archfiend's Roar. See, special summon an Archie monster by paying 500 life points. I don't remember what it was before, but I'm sure this was a little bit better. See, Arsenal Robber. Your opponent selects a spell card equipped from their deck or hand. So instead of deck, it's also their hand in case they have something in their hand that they have to discard. Berserk Dragon. I got rid of the life or attack point loss. Blast held by attribute. It destroys all your opponent's monsters and also deals a different burn damage. So instead of just 1,000 flat, it's essentially like a Time Wizard burn, kind of. Which could potentially be better. Cestus of Dalga gains fairy by 800. So that there you go. There's an equip spell increase. Instead of what was it before? Like 400, 500? 800 seemed very fair enough, especially for like a type specific. As a contract with Exodia lets you summon Necros from anywhere. So even if it's discarded, you can summon it. Dark Bishop Archfiend just increased its stats a little bit. Gorg the Strong made a level 4. Because even though Dawn's Elude kind of has like the best effect with like the discard, it's like no one plays Gorg, right? So if it's level 4, you'd play Gorg because now all of a sudden Dark Scorpions has a strong monster that could be normal summoned. I really do think like the changes for Dark Scorpions like were really key. Deathfell Imp, it instead of shuffling a monster from your grave back to your deck, it just adds to your hand. So it's kind of like a flip version of Reincarnation. Dice reroll, I made this a continuous trap, which when a die roll is performed, so you can activate this, during either player's turn. You can negate it, and the player has to reroll it. I do wish there was some set of monsters or field or continuous cards that supply you with those weak equipped cards from your deck. Might be good this time. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have what's it called? Arsenal, hidden arsenal. Is that what I'm thinking of? Is that the card or hidden armory? I think hidden arsenal's the set. Yeah, hidden armory. Hidden armory, armory call. Hidden armory is like the big one though. I mean, we get like Kotetsu eventually. We also have terraforming too. Different dimension dragon. This one I kind of had to change a little bit because the card's really bad, right? It's like the only different dimension card that doesn't have anything regarding banishing, which is stupid. Like I think its effect is supposed to like somewhat reference like it like phases in and out, so like can't be targeted or whatever. But because it has like low stats, I kind of wanted to keep with that like it can't be destroyed by like high or specific monsters. But I at least gave it an effect that involves banishing, so it's kind of like a monarch where you tribute a monster, to summon it, and then you can banish a monster, which is really good, right? The downside being the card has like really low stats. I think that's fair enough. And also, it's like a Zaborg thing, right, where it just targets a monster. So if your opponent doesn't have a monster, you can't really summon it. Necross is a fun one to change. First off, bumping up by 500 points. Like, he needs to be over 1800. And then it must first be special summoned. So if it's destroyed, you can, like, revive it. Can't be destroyed by battle or by spell and trap effect. So, non-targeting removal, basically. Or, yeah. Effect removal, let's just say that. Or banishing. And then it gains 500 and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, it's, just basically just bump up its stats, make it a little less flimsy. Fairy of the Spring targets an equipped starting grave, adds it to your hand. Hey, there you go, Boss Brown. More equipped support. Falling Down targets an opponent's monster, takes control of it. So unless you have an Archfiend card during each your standby opponent's standby phase, you take 500. So it's a little bit less burn, I think. The monster was called Sword Hunter. We did fix Sword Hunter. Pharaoh's Servant. We made a level 6 instead of, I believe it was a 7, because it should never be a level anything 2 tributes. The Guardian cards were also really weird. So the Guardians all around I changed in regards to, instead of needing the equip spell on the field, now you just reveal the equip in your hand to summon them. Because it doesn't make any sense for the cards that like are supposed to wield their thing that you need them on the field so they don't even have it, which is stupid. So that said, Bow, gains 1,000. So like they all have basically similar things. Bow's a little bit higher attack, 1,000. Seal, I believe I changed its effect with Elma. Because I also wanted their effects to sort of synergize well with the equip, with your respective equips. Where Seal, you can target equip spell and graveyard and equip it to this card. Because Elma doesn't need that, because Elma already has Butterfly Dagger Elma. So that card's not even hitting the graveyard, really. So now you can send Elma to the grave, pop a monster, get the card. But you can only use it once per turn, but it's still like way better. Even if the equip card is face up, you fail to summon it. Yeah, I mean they're weird. Also increase Elma's attack. Grarl. If it's the only card in your hand other than Grarl, you can special summon it. KS cannot be destroyed by battle. Trice, I bumped up its attack because it's a tribute monster. So it's all basically the same thing. I did fix a couple of the Guardian equips. Infernal Queen. Once per turn during your standby, target Archfiend gains 1,000 attack. So it's basically like its old effect, except it's only during one standby phase. So it's not as broken, but it's not till the end of the turn. So it does have more utility there. Kildo increases attack. When it's destroyed by battle, you can target 3 cards your opponent's graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. So it's a little bit buffed up from, I think it was just 2 cards before. Mephiст, I gave it 1900 to sort of match Aeronite Parshath. Lunatite, this makes your monster unaffected by spells and traps controlled by your opponent. Mustering and Dark Scorpions, I basically just made this no one suspects a Dark Scorpion game. Like the skill and speed rules, where if you control Dawn's Lu, you discard and you special summon 2 Dark Scorpions, different names from your hand and deck, 1 each. Shadow Knight and Terror King, I reduced their cost from 800 to 500. Spell Vanishing, discard a card, negate a spell. So it's, Chain Energy, but for spell cards. Flashing. So, like, I think this was. I'm trying to remember what this. You can look up the card. I don't remember off the top of my head everything it does. Twin Swords, a Flashing Light, Trice. This one. So this and Flamberge, I basically just got rid of like their original downside, which was like you had to like tribute a monster to use them or something stupid like that. And then Vilepon Archfiend, I just gave it higher defense to match its effect better. And that is all the cards I fixed in between last stream and this stream. So there's a lot of changes. But let's jump into like the meat of things. Reminder, we need to bump up these likes, man. Come on. I really want to show this like cool thing I got. But let's get this Invasion of Chaos set. So let's see. Get it right. The card right here. More or less. So, like, again, the way we're going to go about this is that if there's a card that looks like it could use some fixing, we'll fix it. Otherwise, we don't have to touch every card here. And trust me, this thing I want to show if we get to 10 likes, like, it's honestly, like, one of the coolest things I've gotten that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Related. I think y'all would really like it. It's big. I'll say that. It is really big. Bigger than my head. Let's see. A hero emerges. Here's attack. Select random card from your hand. Your field. If not, send it to the graveyard. This is kind of a weird one. I mean, it's random, but I guess it's fine. Bugroth, it's probably fine. Berserk. Yeah, this guy. Let's fix this guy. Black Tyranno. Black Tyranno I do want to fix. So this guy has like a weird effect where it sounds like it's really good, but then you find out that like no, it's if the only cards your opponent controls are defense position monsters, this card can attack directly, which is really freaking annoying. right? So it's like in theory, it's like, oh, if your opponent has like just face down monsters, but if they have any back row cards, this effect does not go off, and I do not like that. Like that just kind of kills the whole vibe of the card, right? So let's fix that. The only monsters. So changing from cards to monsters, it's instantly fixed. Now you can play with much more because it's a 2 tribute monster, right? It needs some help. Black Tyranno, you want to jump to the next card? There we go. Jeez, I don't know. So that was being really weird. I love blasting the ruins. Such a gimmicky card. See, Gustav is because there's also Disc Blade Rider. That's like the trap version, right? I think so. Yeah, one normal trap. Oh, that's really bad. See, I kind of want to make Gustav like spell or trap cards. Because this Blade Rider, like, it's just normal traps. Because if you have like Bazoo, or at the very least, we could make it where Chaos Rider has like more Bazoo stats. Those are the two ways I can see us going with this. Right? Either bump up its stats like to like 16 or allow it to banish spell or trap cards. Both seem reasonable. I want to lean towards just like a stat gain because this blade like exists, right? So it complements Chaos Rider. And then it'll give you like another option for like kind of like a beater. I'm kind of feeling like the 16 hundo. Just bump up its stat by like 200. Chopman. This card has flipped someone successfully. Like this card should be like a flip monster, but I guess it's fine that it isn't. Chopman, I don't think he even like needs to be flipped, right? Like he's probably fine enough just by like normal summoning him. Hey, 3 likes, just 7 more before I show off my really sick Yu-Gi-Oh merch I just got. Chopman, the Desperate Outlaw. Watcha. So it should just be when he's summoned, right? Because like you're never gonna like. What are the odds you get this? Because this guy's already asking for so much to be, set for a whole turn, and for you to have like a proper spell in the graveyard. I think that just makes a lot more sense, especially since he already his stats are just so low. Oh, I got 2 of them. Yo, Hustler, what's up? The card sounds like it has its own shonen. It's in a couple of cards. Or, yeah, other cards. Chop Man, the Desperate Outlaw, the anime, the movie. Chop Man, Phantom Blood. I'd watch it. Compulse, broken. Curse Seal. Curse Seal's a weird one. Part of me wants to make it like a generic discard. Yo, Mateo, what's up? Are the other parts uploaded on YouTube? My live streams are all up. So on my channel, there's a live tab. All the live streams are on there. I did not cover. I did cover Magician's Force and Dark Crisis early on this stream, in which I went over these card pulls by myself, like off stream. But all otherwise, like yeah, all the previous streams are on YouTube. Which, by the way, get to 10 likes, show off really cool merch. I want to push it only because it is really freaking cool, and I just want to show people it. Would Curse Seal... Curse of Dark... Did I forget a card on here? Did I forget Crimson Ninja and Curse? I thought I had every card. I like the OCG stuff. Well, I have some OCG stuff on my Patreon right now, actually. Which is available to watch. But otherwise, it will be uploaded on the 16th. Hey, I mean, if I don't plug it, who will, right? I don't make anything from YouTube really. Like I'll get like some monetary benefit every like couple months, but most part I just do this out of my own pocket. Sometimes you gotta hustle. Crimson Ninja is basically just Arm Ninja, but for traps, which that's fine. My cards are ordered weird. It orders Curse of Darkness after Curse Seal. Yeah, I mean, I gotta like people forget about where things are and stuff. So it's just my job to remind people. Because I wonder, like, if you just like discard or spell cards actually discard one card. What's my favorite format to play? Boy, if I had a nickel every time, ask me that. Um, is this better, or does this make it broken if you just discard one card, right? Like a Sinister Serpent. This might be broken. Favorite format. I mean, it's hard to say. I'm still going through all the formats. What's my favorite format up to this point? Honestly, it changes. I'll tell you what, though. I do have a. Well, actually, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it changed from time to time. I definitely have like a list of formats I really like. I don't know if I could say one specific format. I think Curse Seal is. I think Curse Seal is fine. Like I feel like just stopping any spell by discarding like Thunder Dragons or Serpents or whatever. I mean, technically, Bandai is its own card game, and I'm sure people probably play it. I wouldn't mind doing like more Bandai stuff at some point in time because I only made the one video on it really, but there's got to be like people that play it. Oh, this I feel like I want to play this in what's a Dark Eradicator Warlock deck. Make it magic and traps if you want. Mm. But I don't know. I mean, it makes it like ever so slightly better, but like, is that really even worth it? Because I feel like monsters just makes it busted. But like adding traps feels like it doesn't really change much. It's like an ever so slightly change to it. Oh yeah, I mean there's different formats I enjoy playing. It's just saying like, oh, this is like my favorite one. Like I enjoy Yugi Kaiba and Critter and Yada and Goat and Trooper and Perfect Circle and Fire Water and oh, what's the one before Meadowlands? Um, there's hat format I've been like researching that's been like really cool. Future formats I haven't covered yet that I'm sure I'll like. Make it affect traps as but here's the problem. It's called Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell. It is created as like an anti-spell card. That's the thing. So it just feels like one of those cards that's like it does have some downsides, but I feel like those downsides are kind of justified. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I think the only time I changed like a name was D Tribe because I just changed it to Dragon Tribe just because D like B Skull. Yeah, it's like maybe like send one card, but that seems a little too finicky. Yeah, it's probably just it is what it is. Curse of Darkness. This seems kind of like a fun burn. Oh, what about? What about? What about? What about? What about? By the way, 6 more likes. 6 more likes, so we hit that. Or if someone donates some money towards my monthly goal. What's your opinion on people that don't know the difference between you and your and your? Uh, I don't know. I mean, they should probably know what the difference is, but some people make typos. I'm not gonna be like a grammar Nazi. That's sealing all spells in a chain randomly. Sealing all spells in a chain randomly. Mm, sealing all spells in a chain? I don't know. That feels a bit too complicated for like what this card is doing. This card's basically just like, hey, stop using this card for like remainder of the duel, basically. Which is fair. Like, is a very powerful effect, depending on the deck. You know, I'm just gonna do what you suggested earlier. Discard one spell or trap card, because at the very least, it'll just give you like one extra option to like play with, and I think that's fine enough. Yeah, like it's a card that like it definitely has like an issue because you need to discard very specific things to like stop very specific things that are ran in multiple copies. But if you can at least have like one more option to like discard, I'll take it. Hey, 5 likes, 5 more before I get to show the really really cool. Like I'm hyping it up, but I think the hype is justified. Honestly, Triceratops is good. I like him. Demok. Dark. Now I really like Dark Mirror Force. I want to play this card. How do we play this card? So essentially, it's a Mirror Force, but it banishes your opponent's defense monsters, which I get it, right? It is literally messing with your opponent, thinking that they're playing around a mirror force. Like that is the point of the card, and it meets that point. Like the card is designed like justifiably, right? That's the problem. I feel like it should have something where it like also affects the attacking monster because it doesn't do anything with the attacking monster, right? It just banishes all the other mons. Wasn't there a mirror force card to counter mirror force at some point? Uh, I don't know if there was like a anti mirror force, like a mirror force. That sounds like a fun card. Stuck mirror force. I know there's like mirror force launcher, but that's about it. Banish the attacking monster and all defense position monsters your opponent controls. So it's at least deal. So now it at least deals with with the attacking monster too. I'll take that. I think scout plane's fine because some people do play it in certain ways. Dedication, it's fine, fine. It's fine. Fine. Freed the brave wanderer. He's fine. Probably, right? Would banishing one light monster make him busted? Or would that be fair? Nope. Cause I know like some people will play him in like goat format fairy decks, but it's not like you really see that anyway much aside from like Grace playing it. Because two just feels like a lot, especially if you have to banish a specific light monster with a specific, and then to target a monster with a specific attack. What's with all these like hyperlinks? Yeah, like it's not underline, right? Kind of. Yeah. Ugh. What is going on here? What is get away? Goodness. Can I just like copy an errata? Does this work? Please work. Thank you. Banish one light monster from your graveyard. Easier. Less resources wasted, the better. Because now you're essentially going a 1-for-1. This was the same with Strike Ninja. Hey, we'll get to Strike Ninja in this set. Yeah, 5 years and 5 likes. I hope all those people liked. Gigantus, Grandma, Guardian Jones. Start the graveyard, increase your life points. That seems fine, giving its everything. Hammerhead's good. Invader of Darkness is all kind of a weird one. Because it's like, can activate a quick play spell. Like, that's so specific. Can it just be spell cards? To make it like a 2 tribute kind of Jinzo? Like, what if we just made it basically Jinzo? But for, like, spell cancelers. Yeah, but that just makes spell canceller, though, right? Yeah, it's just spell cancel. What do we do with Vader of Darkness? I guess for 2 tributes. For 2 tributes, right? We're just stopping spell opponents activating spell cards. So that way it's not. Or we could potentially have it where it's like your opponent cannot activate like quick play, continuous, or equips potentially. But this might be fine, right? It's kind of hard to like. How do you balance just you're stopping your opponents from playing spell cards? I mean, this guy is 2 tributes, and like it's all he does. So it's like weird. What do you all think? Do you prefer Invader Darkness to be like more like specific spells or just like all spells? Mm. What's wrong with some of these cards is like we really could go 2 different directions with him. Spell speed 2. So that's I mean that's basically just quick play spells. I mean, like I guess it also infects like counter traps. But cards don't read like that though, right? Quick play spell cards or counter traps. The only thing that's like seems a little weird about this is that it's just like Invader Darkness doesn't really affect traps, right? Like it's just spell cards. So if it was something like because his so we gotta think about like what the card's designed for, right? His whole design is like not to stop like a certain kind of spell cards, right? So if it was something like this, where it's your opponent cannot activate quick play, continuous, and equip. This allows him to activate normal and field spell cards. So it's still like a bit specific, but it's just kind of enhancing the specificness of it. I think the premise is though that there is no prepping for him rather than affecting spells, which is Why he's Invader of Darkness. Well, he invades darkness. There is no prepping for him rather than affecting. Well, I mean, like, traps is kind of things that stop things from coming, right? To lay out a trap. Because I think just having him block all of the, like, non-basic, normal back row cards, right? Barring normal and field spell, because field's, like, in a field zone. That feels more in line to what he's trying to do. You just get a little bit more benefits from it. Holy cow, 8 viewers. Uh, reminder: 10 likes. Show off a really cool Yu-Gi-Oh merch I got. It's gigantic. See, Lukunga. Lukunga, I feel like should not be removed too. Do I not have Jade? How many cards? Wait, am I missing like a bunch of cards? I thought I downloaded like all the cards like weeks ago. I mean, we only need to change in a Jade Whistle because that's just, it's specifically for a very specific kind of parasite. Just be banished one water monster. Because, like, the token isn't doing anything if I'm just being 700 beater. So you're essentially converting one card to a token, which from a game design point makes sense. Yo, we got 6 likes. Yo, 4 more likes. Show off the cool thing. Part of me wishes Daedalus was level. Well, I guess Legendary Ocean makes it level 6. It's fine. Lord Poison's good enough. Although it does make me remember of a Yugioh here. Fairy type monster, except a Yugioh. Now that I'm thinking about that. Yo, Lee, what's up? Yeah, happy Pride Month. Happy to all the Pride folk out there. Yeah, Poison's fine. Manju, obviously fine. Manticore, obviously. Taz is fine. Primal Seed is kind of weird. It was like limited at like one point in the TCG and the OCG, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's fine. It's just getting back the 2 materials you used. Reload. It's fine. Is there a difference between reload and magical mallet aside from one's a quick play? Koki's fine. Crane's. Celtic Guardian deck. Ooh, nice. Playing like obnoxious Celtic Guard and was another one. It's like a noble Celtic Guardian or something like that. We need more Celtic Guardian cards. Self-feed. Series all balance in the graveyard. Opponent discards a random card from their hand. It's fine, I guess. Fine, fine. Yeah, Strike Ninja is one of those cards that can like reduce. I mean, hey, you can build however you want. I mean, yeah, if I was building a Celtic Guardian deck, I would want to make it more like generic. I feel like we're gonna be done Vision Chaos really early. We might even do Ancient Sanctuary tonight, quite honestly. Yeah, there's no reason why this needs to be two. Like, what's with all these like heavy costs? Like, it's a really fun card in those like gimmicky decks. Like, that's all it's used for. Ooh, Dark Magician, that'd be fun. Honestly, a Dark Magician fused with Celtic Guardian, that would look really cool. Right, Dark Magician with like Celtic Guardian armor. Dark Dark Guardian. No, that's a card. The Celtic Magician, maybe something like that. Oh, so yeah, Strike Ninja and Dungeon Dice monsters. That's cool. Actually, it's funny. It's funny to mention that. I was actually about I don't know 2 hours ago chatting with a guy for the upcoming In the Zone podcast, where we talk about Dungeon Dice monsters. I'm hoping to have it up this Sunday if I can get around to editing it tomorrow or the weekend. Uh, but Dungeon Dice is on the mind. It's like a Yugi deck with cards I love. I mean, that's how you should build decks, right? Yeah, where are all these likes, man? I'm gonna like this stream myself because I want to show this cool thing I got. All right, y'all dig me? Bam! Just drop the like there. Have found your boss monster. Yeah, it's like, what do you do with Celtic Guardian? I mean, for like a boss monster. I mean, you gotta do like a I don't know MX Saber Invoker or something like that. Some like big warrior monster. Something fun. Well, did people play this card? I don't think so. I feel like I'm mistaken with some other card. I feel like I saw someone use this like in a Crystal Beast deck back in like 2017, 2018, before they got all that like extra rainbow support. Yeah, like I would probably go with like an extra deck. I mean, you kind of have to go with the extra deck monster in the case of archetypes that really don't have anything going for them, right? Like some strong warrior card that like works around with warriors, like a Master of Blades or a is I think Invoker might be forbidden. I'm not sure. MX Saber Invoker, because he's the one that like does stuff with warriors, right? Let's see. Wild Nature's release. It's gonna be a generic. Well, yeah. I mean, if you make it like Access Code Talker or Appaloosa, it's yeah, that's its own. That's just an extra deck at that point. But a boss monster they are though. I mean, once they're out, they're scary. This card is probably fine. Hello, let me switch the card. Wait, is that it? There's no way we're already done. Is Invasion Chaos just that solid? Yeah, what the hell? Where are all these cards? I thought I had. I skipped like half of the cards. I thought I had all this downloaded. What the heck? Goodness. Or did I just end on that set? I might have just. Yeah, I think I just never did Invasion of Chaos. Goodness gracious. This is just how I download my cards. I just go and drag them into a folder. I thought we'd be done like way early. Boy, howdy, was I wrong. How's everybody doing? How's everybody hanging? Balloon Lizard, obviously perfect. Balloon Lizard, I think Balloon Lizard's pretty solid. I can get a better print than that. Yeah, we're gonna have to take another. That's fine. I'm trying to get first ed if I can, but if the quality of the print's kind of ass, I'm just like, I can always touch it up later on, like Photoshop, but I don't always want to if I can help it. Like as long as the scan is like decent enough, I'm happy. Man, I really was missing like so many cards. That's rather unfortunate, I think. Balloon Lizard, my man. I probably would have done this beforehand had I remembered. I definitely have to remember for Ancient Sanctuary. That's a kind of a sketch. They're both sketch. That one's not a sketch. I'm saying this every 5 minutes. Get 10 likes, see cool thing. That's all I'm saying. So, chat, what's your favorite Invasion of Chaos card out there? Out of curiosity. There's a lot of great cards. It's definitely one of Yu-Gi-Oh's best sets, I think. Aesthetically is more of a personal call, but yeah. So many cards. Design wise for or playability. That's whatever your favorite card is. Could be both. You know, you could pick A, you could pick B. There are so many cards in these like North American sets. Goodness. I'm honestly just trying to kill time while I do this. Am I making it obvious? What is that scan? Oh my god, that outline's so thick and stupid. Like me. Like, I really wish Yu-Gi-Oh had like their own better resource that wasn't just like, like they had scans of like the releases, not just the basic card. Like, wouldn't that be like way cooler, right? If Konami had their own like Wikipedia that actually made sense, not like the Konami website. Yeah, we did kind of go through Reload a little bit earlier. Didn't do anything with it, but the Egyptian theme. Reload was a card for like the longest time. I thought it had like totally different OCG art because it looks like the kind of card that would have totally unique OCG art, right? But it just doesn't. It's just the same in the OCG, which I find wild. God, there's so many cards. Jesus. Tap dancing Christ. A lot of cards to fix, I can tell you that much. We're like doubling the amount of cards we're just looking at. But like Oz the Invasion of Chaos, still a pretty good set. Like it definitely ushered a new era of Yu-Gi-Oh in for like the meta. Well, it's like it's like a hieroglyphic gun. It's like, what is this? Konami, what drugs are you on? Can I have some? I know I stopped Invasion Chaos because this is just like monotonous work. This is what I do for like all my history videos, by the way. Just meticulously going through sets and just downloading a massive amount of cards. We get Prickle Fairy, right? No. Sasuke? No. Sylph Silpheed. Oh, 8 likes. Oh, we're so close. So close to that mythical 10 likes where I show the really, really, really cool thing. Tell your friends, tell your loved ones. Janjo's live, baby. This card looks like a Pokemon card. Recycle. Sherpent. Sherpent. Chevalier of Schwachnis. This card like went up a lot back in like was it 2020 or so when like B Trooper or something was getting hype. The Naruto crossover. Wait, which card? Which card are we talking about? Naruto's pretty tight. They just added Karina in was that her name Karina in Storm Connections as DLC? Oh, Sasuke. Kurenai? Kurenai, that sounds right. Character that, like, that should have been in the game forever ago. We're almost done, though. We're almost done. Anything between Stumbling and Wild Nature's release. So everything with a T. Holy jabroni. Most atrociously. I apologize for that. But this gives us time, though, to get to those 10 likes to show off the really, really cool thing I bought. Which I'm really excited for because I got a really good price. So when I actually received it, I was like kind of shocked, but I was just amazed, just like how cool it is. I'm sure people will rewatch and it's going to be like, get on with it. Hey, it's not up to me. I got to give some incentive to like engage, right? That's just YouTubing 101 right there. A masterclass with Janjo. This is the last one, though. Bam. Now I have every card on file. Now let's readjust this. Bam. We did it, guys. Now let's go back from the top. Let's fix Invasion of Chaos. I mean, honestly, like y'all wanna? I'll give you a sneak peek. This is the other side of it, but it is giant. That's your sneak peek. 10 likes. Do the reveal stream. Ooh, boy. See, anti-aircraft flower. Tribute an insect 800. It seems like a really bad cannon soldier. How do you like? They have a lot of like plant. It seems like early on Yu-Gi-Oh, like they really had this idea that like plants and insects were going to be like intertwined together. I feel like at the very least, yo, Blade Scorpio, what's up? Yeah, I feel like at the very least, aircraft flower should deal like 1,000. Like, honestly, if not more, if you're tributing an insect type monster. But hey, thanks. I like that you like it. And hey, if I get to 10 likes, I'll show this really cool merch I just got. Yeah, very low efficiency. I mean, it kind of works with like, like scapegoat. Scapegoat can be tributed for like base, effects and stuff, and like DNA surgery, but it also requires like a very specific combo where you can deal like 4K, like with if we're bumping it up. But I think that's fair enough. Balloon Lizard's fun. I like Balloon Lizard. Gone Knave is fine. Big Burn. This was a super rare in the set. I think maybe we need our thrice per turn, maybe. Hmm. Yeah, maybe 1,000 is too much, but I feel like 900 isn't doing anything more or less. Yeah. All right. Yeah, maybe I'll just cut out aircraft. I mean, maybe it's fine as it is, just for that. You could potentially use some like really stupid plays. Big Burn. Life is card opponent activates the card with the monster at the graveyard. With all monsters and both players. Goodness gracious. So like a monster reborn just you actually chain this and just destroys everything. Yeah, then that's fair enough. 9 likes, holy crap. Bogani is kind of weird. This was a card that like in the OCG people were kind of hyping up like when it was announced because it's just like it's a burn card that you just summon it and it just starts. You know, if you leave it on the field, it burns, right? But then it came out and it's like, oh no, this guy actually kind of sucks. Like this guy should deal 800 because while it is, you're not like losing any cards by leaving it on the field. It's also very slow. Like its stats suck, and it's only during your standby phase, right? So is there a way to like, yeah, to try and keep these in like, I can make them alphabetical order fairly easily, but meh. Some sort of protection each time someone draws the card. Oh goodness gracious. Well, if you're running this in like, because ideally you're running this in some sort of stall deck, right? Which I feel like each like standby phase would be too much. I wouldn't mind increasing its like defense though. Like we could make it 1,300 to like match its attack, or potentially 1,500. But the whole idea is that you normal summon this guy, so it's really more of an attack thing, right? Well, I don't think it like protection doesn't really fit in line with like the card is doing. I think 14, 13 might be fine. So it has like a little bit more because I feel like 14's like the threshold of like attack monsters to like not as like a it's like Don's the Lug level. You know what I mean? It's like below that, you got like the Sangans and more like super specific cards. I think that might be fine. A little buff in stats, a little bit more burn, but I'm always open to ideas. And also keep in mind we can always go back to cards too, like any card that like I've went through already. Not opposed to fixing things. Because again, I do plan on like putting this out there for people to like look at later down the line. Might post on like my Discord or something, which is linked below, by the way. If anyone watching is not a part of it, increase your life points by 1,000 when sent to the graveyard. Oh, that's really bad. Burning algae doesn't even make sense. Isn't algae like in the water? Should give your opponent 2,000. Why would it do that? Increase your opponent's life points. Oh god, it's even worse. Bad reaction, do some mochi. I don't think it's just like, I don't know. It's, I mean, I guess it works with like Fire Princess Burn, right? But that doesn't quite do anything with like a Fire Princess deck, because that'll just inflict 500 regardless of the amount this thing is dishing out. I think this thing, like honestly, this thing should just burn and not like. Why is it even increasing? Like, what's the thematic point? It's a fire card. Changing it to if instead of when. I don't necessarily mind that if this card is the graveyard, inflict to your opponent. It's life points. You mean like this? This card sent to the graveyard, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent's life points. That sound right? As a material. I mean, if it makes it a little more useful, that's kind of the point, right? Like, I don't want to make any cards like busted or anything, right? I still want to keep the cards. You know, like the ideas behind the cards make sense. Yeah, if you use link material, I mean, if you want to play something that just deals 1,000 burn damage. Yeah, because like it's a freaking burn card, right? They shouldn't be healing you. That doesn't make any sense for a fire monster. One more like, then I'll show off the cool thing. We're getting there. We are inching. We are inching our way there. You to put a. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that. Can only use the effect of burning algae once per turn. Yeah, something like that. That way you can't abuse it, but you can still like inflict, stuff. Yeah, like you don't want it to use it for like OTKs. Like there are definitely cards that you look at and you're like, oh, this can be abused, right? Uh, this card's unaffected by spell card. Whatever. People aren't really using that for its thing. This card, people sometimes side. chaos end. I think this card can get away with 5 banish cards. Not like people is really running it anyway, but because it is a very specific dark hole. But if we just reduce it just like slightly, it's probably fine. It's like 2 less cards. That's not changing much, but it's, you know, we're giving a little nudge in the right direction, I think. Chaos Grid has been using like some weird decks. Necromancer can be kind of gimmicky. Yeah, why do I have 2 Chopmans? I don't know. Coach Goblin is not second Goblin. It's funny that we got like 2 of them. By the way, anyone interested, I do have a new monthly goal up top there. It's only $10. Reduced it from last month because we did not meet last month, sadly. But yeah, I figured to, you know, have a little bit something to help out the channel. As long as this guy remains on the field, you can turn a normal monster in your hand to the bottom of your deck to draw a card. Weird. Very specific. What's second goblin lets like you change the battle position. I feel like it should be something more along the lines of like second goblin, because Coach Goblin's like the first goblin, right? Like I feel like Coach Goblin should have like a union based effect. But that would require like completely redesigning the card. That's not quite the point of this exercise, is it? During your end phase. I mean, at the very least, Coach Goblin should be returning any card. Because if it's going to be during your end phase and you're just drawing a random card anyway. What was it? Was it control? Yeah. Weird. Again, can't comment. Like, WTF. It's certainly an odd monster. Turn 1 card. Hand to the bottom of your deck to draw a card. Also, while this card is face up on your field, I feel like it should be like a maybe you should banish this drawing like in like the chaos one. It's a different dark hole at 3. Well, I mean, like there's a lot of formats where dark hole is banned. So if you have a card that, you know, that revolves around the whole banish zone. Honestly, I think I'm gonna change it to 4. Because, like, if you have 2 chaos monsters, you're gonna have 4. And at that point, like, if you can dark hole with those, like, that feels like that makes sense, right? Because now you have a card that's like, well, now it's live, but now I got these chaos monsters. Let me read Card Trader real quick. This is during your standby phase. I feel like this guy can be like a card trader once per turn during your main phase. Or does he need like during because it's already has a once per turn clause. Never mind. Yeah, so get rid of the end phase and get rid of the return card specific the requirement of it being a vanilla monster. I think that's much better. Because now you can just be like, have this guy in the field and be like, swap this, draw a card, and then just work from there. I think that's much more reasonable. DD borderline. When there are no spells in the graveyard, they can cut their battle phase. That's kind of funny. I like Designator. I wish more people try this card out. It's essentially just a proactive Mind Crush. And it banishes the card. Can you reassign Destruction Ring? Destroy a face of monster. 1,000 damage to both players. It's just a crappy Ring of Destruction. Honestly, this should just be like destroy one monster on the field. And then, deals the burn. Like, if it's going to be a crappy Ring of Destruction, it should at least be basically just like by burn damage on the field. Because now it's Ring of Destruction, but like the burn is just way less. That seems better, right? I would argue. I feel like 2000 is like enough to like end games. Especially if this card's like unlimited, right? Like you chain 3, like you can get 3 of these things off for like 3k max. And it just pops opposing monster. Like that alone is really strong. I mean, yeah, you're taking burn damage, but feels like in the right game state, 2k is like a ton. Right? Yeah, I mean, it's still a trap, but like, imagine like chaining this on your opponent's turn, right? You got like 3 set, right? Like, they are effed. Like, yeah, you're taking 3k too, but they're taking 3k and losing 3 monsters. Now, you can also use it on your own monsters, but I feel like 1,000 is enough for like burn damage. I feel like anything more needs to be like very specific. Like, if it was destroying your own monster, maybe I'd raise up to like 15, but even that's a little iffy. Especially how burn decks can like abuse it, right? Ugh. Now this card, freaking cool art, I gotta say. Some toy art. And there are no cards in the graveyard. Select a monster move from play a special summon to your side of the field. Yeah, this is another like really like weird. Or like it's cool, right? It's essentially it revolves around like the banishing, but it's like a monster reborn. See, I would want it to be more like DDR, but I don't want it to like step over the function of this card, right? Where you discard and you special. It's essentially a Call of the Haunted for the banished zone, except you discard a card. So, have any monsters in graveyard online? I don't hate that. That's a step in the right direction. Yeah, like I kind of get it in the sense of like, you don't want to have anything because that's like the style of it. Um, Honestly, I kind of wish it was more like Chaos End, right? Where it's like depending on how much banish cards you have. But then like Primal Seed's kind of similar, right? or Primal Seed, where like I get you have to have a Chaos monster, but you recur to banish cards. Yo, Sunnyshine, what's up? It's like most of the time you're probably gonna have banished monsters, right? Anyway. Because like DDR can be used multiple times. You don't, you have to discard a card. Hmm. So do we have it where if there are no spell or trap cards in your graveyard? Huh. This was kind of tricky for like trying to make it not broken. Some Origin Zero. By the way, 10 likes, get a see cool thing. It's the last time I'm saying this. I've been saying it all stream. It's been like an hour 40, and I'm struggling to get 10 likes. I'm sad. Can I face card? If there are no monster cards in your graveyard and your vice. I think that sounds more reasonable because now it's like, hey, you got no monsters, but they're all there. Well, here's a thing. That sounds more reasonable for like this card's design. I mean, like, if anyone wants to like test these cards out, and stuff, be my guest. Create those custom cards on Dueling Book. Of these two, I need a. What's the freaking hotkey for this? Just bam. That's interesting. DNA trans Dawn Turtle. This card is normal or flipped. Expect some Dawn Turtles from your hand. That's fair. Trying to make it less broken than Dimension Fusion. I mean, this is more of like a thought discussion than anything, but I will be posting it, like the list, when I'm done with like all the DM era sets. So if people want to like try stuff out, like again, the idea is to take cards and look at what they were, roughly designed for, and seeing like kind of the counterbalances that were potentially like overbalanced, and just fixing them. And this isn't like recreating like all the cards and make them all like meta viable, or brand new effects and stuff. I mean, sometimes that's the case, but it depends on the card. Depends how garbage it is. Drago's probably fine. This is just what was the freaking card? Um, the contract with the abyss. Thinking of. Well, having like oricas of like all my custom made cards would be like pretty rad. But like, I mean, as you can see, there's a lot. I'm not about to start dumping that kind of money just for fun. Let's see. Select a face-up monster on your side of the field. Increase the attack defense of the monster by the amount equal to the number of cards you present. Hmm. I feel like this should be higher. Cards used to be in the time when they're 4,000 L. Yeah, when these are like 4K LP, things are certainly a different. Like I look at speed duels, for example. Like speed duels, like way, a lot of cards have much different value in that. It's because like the LP is so much less. Yeah, I mean, burn decks exist in Speedo. I don't think any are like broken right now, but like, I mean, early on you got Gravekeeper Burn. That was like a top tier deck. I feel like since this card is a trap card and it also requires your opponent having cards in their hand, I feel like the buff should be like 400, right? I was thinking like 300, but I feel like 400 is justified because it's a trap, so it's like you gotta save it potentially for 2 turns. And if your opponent also has like cards in their hand, right? Like 2 cards is 800, like for a one-time use thing. That 400 feels fair enough, right? Am I wrong? I feel like I'm right. Fenrir is a weird one because I personally think Fenrir sucks. I know some people will play him in like some early water decks, but I also kind of get why his stats are low, right? Because they skip their draw phase, which is really powerful. And to balance that out, you have it have low attack. So I think if you just banish one water, kind of like what we did with Lacunga and Freed, like banishing two does not help anybody out, I think. The points, depending on the format's a huge difference. Yeah, I mean, it always depends on the format, like what cards are around. Yeah, 1400 like in theory isn't that crazy, but depends like on what other cards are around. Like if and is this card possible to be broken? Like especially in like something with 4,000, like duelings or speed duel. Or change it to one water monster. Because like that's his main problem. It's just you're losing 2 resources for a weak monster with a okay effect. That's fine. Cause I feel like we've talked about Fairy's Hand Mirror in the past. Was that Metal Raiders or Magic Ruler? And I think we decided not to change anything because this card exists. I can do a spy and be sad. I mean, I hope they don't introduce spy into Speed Duel personally, but I could see a world where that happens. This is used for an OTK. We'll just keep that the same, I guess. Gale Lizard. Gale Lizard's like fine for like the water deck. Because you don't have the risk of like losing your own monster because it specifically targets an opponent's monster, and it does have like okay attacks if you just like punch it. I do wish its just defense was higher though. But I get having that like split, like do you attack or do you set it kind of thing. So I feel like it's designed fairly enough. Um, you're using these cards 8,000 LP when they're made for. I mean, I'm not keeping Duel Links in mind, like, or like Speed Duel, because those are their own like self-created card pools, are they not? Getsu Fuma destroys, so it's like Ryukogi, but for fiends or zombies. That's fine. Would have been neat if they could attack and then dip face down. Well, yeah, like those, like the flippers, like the swarms cards. Gora, Turtle of Illusion. So I feel like I should make this a little bit even. Bam. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Hidden City, Subterrors. I do like Subterrors. Like any card that like any archetype that plays like the way they feel like they should be played, I really like. Like having like an underground archetype play via face down stuff is super cool. Or even like Ghost Tricks, doing like the flipping stuff and be like, ah, boo, surprise. Like it's fun. I like that. This card is really bad. Can be 4,500 attack defense. That might be a bit broken. We can definitely. This card definitely needs a fixing. Or a Turtle Evolution. Or so the Germans would have us believe. So the problem with this guy is that he like his effect is good regarding to him, but he's just really bad, and I think that's because of his stats. I think he just needs a stat increase. Because it's cool that he's not targeted by like specific things, but like what's the point if you can't back anything up? So let's do 16. Let's do like a good 16, 18, because Turtle should have good defense. And 16 is like I feel like that level is like all right. You adding some protection is some nice sprinkles on that. And I think that's where the problem lies. It's just stats. Also need to count for combos. Are we still talking about Agora or whatever we're talking about before? Gale Lizard? Granadora. This another card that I know needs a fixin'. It's the problem where they like gave it relatively high attack, but a horrendous downside. Right, where when it's summoned, you gain 1,000. When you lose, you take 2,000, which is just like it's just not good, right? Because it sort of reminds me of was it Immortal of Thunder? Yeah, where I change it to where it increases by 3,000, you lose 2,000, so you still gain a net 1,000. I think Granadora should be of similarity. Stats are reasonable because it's at 20. If remove the second one. Because probably wonders if the card's like, all right, what if you gain 2,000 and then when it's destroyed, you take 1,000? Like, just flip the numbers around. Yeah, it's cool that it's like a water monster beater, but the problem is that you're losing a lot of life points, and that's usually never worth it. Like, there's a reason why people don't play this. Like, if we made this like 2,000 and this 1,000, well, what was it destroyed by battle? Also add that to it. So now it's, when it's summoned, you gain 2,000, but then it has to be destroyed by card effect. Or by battle, I mean. Um, which helps it because it has high attack. So you're more likely to keep that 1,000, that 2,000 increase. Because it's not like people are really playing like water beat down. You know what I mean? What do you all think about that? Or should it just be, or should it just be this? Gain 1,000 and cut this out. When this monster is summoned. When was the last guy's got reprinted? Yeah, this should just be like when this card is summoned, not whatever. When this monster is summoned, increase life points by 1,000 points. Easy. You get a free life point gain. You can play into it with like Revival Jam. It's got like decent attack. Especially if you add in like a Legendary Ocean into that. That seems way more reasonable. I mean, not all Maris cards hurt himself. I mean, Boganian, Lava Golem. I mean, it hurts your opponent. Uh, Visor Shock. Dralago. I mean, all those cards don't like hurt. Do like burn. That one is right. Griffin's Feather Duster. I think the problem is it sounds like Harpy's Feather Duster, and it's not Harpy's Feather Duster. Yo, Bobby Barrow. Merrick was emo. No, he was a psychopath. He was a sadist at its finest. I don't think the anime translates it as well as it like did in the manga, but that guy is evil. Oh shit, we got to 10 likes. It only took 2 hours. Holy shnikes. All right, I'm gonna uh be a man of my word. Uh hit 10 likes. Y'all want to see something really cool? First let's do Griffin's Feather Duster real quick. Then oh, I ain't done. I ain't done yet. I ain't done yet. But I'm just gonna say. First let's do Griffin's Feather Duster real quick, and then I'm gonna show y'all something really badass. Draw spell cards on your side of the. It's an anti. What? I know I've gone through all these cards over before, but I'm still shocked. Create a spell for it, then you gain life points. I mean, just fucking. Uh, Emergency Provisions was like this set, right? Or came out sometime relatively. Ancient Sanctuary, I think. Um, Griffins. What do we do with this card? What do we do with Griffin's Feather Duster? Yeah, it's good with like I suppose like Statue of the Wicked and stuff, but like that's way too specific. Because we did fix Dark Coffin, um, which allowed you to select the effect of it. Artifacts. I guess. I mean, is it worth fixing Griffin's Feather Duster? I suppose. Or do we make it a little more specific, like destroy? Like, do we make it like a harpies or like a heavy storm? Or no, it's got to be like a fucking harpies. Should it be more like a hate grenade thing, where it's like it destroys all face down or face up spell trap cards? Yeah, you all are saying full effect rework. What if something is like destroy? Like what's Harpy's Feather Duster? Yeah, because we already have emergency provisions. That's the thing. What if it's destroy all face up? Because face down feels like that's gonna be like majority of the time. So if it's like face up, then it's a lot more specific, but it still makes the card more playable, right? Does that sound better? Destroy all face up spell traps your opponent controls. Because if you want to keep like the feather duster motif, that might be a way to do it. All right. Now, do y'all want to see the cool thing I got? Okay, let me get up here for a second. Is it cam only? Or do I need to do cam full screen? I need to do cam full screen. Okay, check this out. I got this in today. It's really cool. Check this out. First off, I'm gonna move this over here. All right, check this out. Look at this. Look at this. It's huge. It is gigantic. Look at it's like it is legitimately giant. It's so big. It's a the Rise of Destiny banner. Like if I have this behind me, it like would eclipse the screen. This is how big this thing is. All its glory. There's nothing on the back if you're wondering. But look at it. So cool. I want to put it back up there. Oh, hung up in your collectible store back then. Hell yeah. Uh, I wish I had more of them. I would occasionally like look up these things on like eBay like once in a blue moon, and normally like they're all really expensive. But I found like a really good price on this one, and I don't think I've ever bought something that fast as I did for this thing. Like if you got more and can hook me up with some, all I'm saying is I bet hook me up with some. All right, making my way downtown through these cards. Hammerhead. Okay, Inferno. This is definitely a card I have thought about multiple times, probably more than the normal bear. I would love because I've seen like Flaming Eternity ones. I don't know what other like retro sets have these banners, but like if they have them for Rise of Destiny, they probably had them for like a multitude for sets. But I never see them online or like anywhere, which is weird, right? You think you'd see more stuff like that, but you don't. So Inferno, I think he's in desperate need of like just a stat flip. Like 1900 might be busted, so I'd be willing to like drop him down to like 17. Although Gigantus is really strong though, and he has 19. So fuck it. Give Fire something. Flip those stats around and call me Sally, because Inferno is coming to your neighborhood. Yeah, so because like you gotta do fire, like no one's really running fire for such a long time. Not till like freaking volcanics, probably. Insect Princess. This one could probably get fixing. Yeah, fire needs something. Like they have Blazing Apache, which is by all intents and purposes good. If you want to be technical, Horus. Yeah, it's like if you can get some sort of like because burn beatdown is like such a weird strategy that Yu-Gi-Oh has attempted to push at like times, especially during the 2003, really 2004, with sets like Pharaonic Guardian having that. But it was never any sort of meta. It's just a really awkward clashing of styles. I don't think they ever quite got to that point. Uh, expand on the field, battle position, all insect monsters change to it on your opponent's side field. Change to attack. Yeah, I mean it looks cool. So obviously, like the idea of this is that you have DNA surgery. That said, this should not be 6 stars. This should just be a level 4 1900 beater. Like I think it's the attack buff is really cool, but also like requires like you need that setup to begin with. We could, I mean, yeah, if we wanted to buff up if it's attack, I mean, I suppose that's another way we could go about it. If we wanted to do like 2300. Mm. The problem is his attack buff is like really strong, and it's not really like asking for like too terribly much. But I feel like 23 might be fine. Because was it Empress Mantis? It was like 22. Yeah. Is there like a one tribute around this time? Insect Monster has like 2400 attack. Because then like one hit, he gets to 28, and then some. And that's defense will bump up to 1900 also. So I'm just thinking like what we did with Exodia Necros. We bumped up its stat by 500. Well, Hades isn't an insect monster. I'm thinking of like insect monsters. Also, we didn't bump up Hades. We just changed his effect slightly. But it's kind of nice to see cards that when we do fix them, it's like we can actually go like a couple different ways about it, right? You could make Insect Princess 1900. I feel like Bumping Attack is probably better just because it's a stat gain is like really is honestly really good. Yeah, Empress Mantis is 22. So I think having a little bit stronger than that is technically an upgrade, and I will take that. Uh, doo, doo, doo. Special from the graveyard, controller draws a card. This would be nice if it had like good synergy with it, but it's not a zombie. Like you almost want it to be a zombie because how are pyros like getting back their pieces, right? Crits with a pyro type. Do we just make Molten Zombie a zombie type? Because, like, Fire Zombie makes more sense than a Fire Pyro, right? It's also not the Light Sacred Crane. Just need to be special. Yeah, I mean it's from the graveyard, which is kind of interesting, right? 'Cause you can use this with like Zombie Master and Card of Safe Return, and I feel like that would kind of be busted though when those cards roll around. You know, Foolish Burial and whatnot. That's kind of like my main bugaboo with this though. That has me a little bit worried though of keeping it a zombie type. Molten Zombie. Like, do we just make its effect like once per turn? Use this effect once per turn. So at least that way you can't abuse it with zombies. That's that's probably fair enough. Yeah. Multiplication of ants. You tribute an insect monster, you summon 2 army tokens. Which are basically just there for Insect Queen. Which eh. I feel like this mm, I feel like they should create like more tokens. If you ask me. Because if you're multiplying like something and you're just getting these like kind of weak tokens out, like if you're tributing a whole monster for this, right? Then it's like give me a little bit more. If you're wasting an entire monster for 2 like really weak tokens, like give me at least like 3. I would even argue 4, but I guess since it's specifically like you because you need to summon a specific number of it, that's why I'm a little more hesitant of getting 4. But like, I guess at that point it'd be like a scapegoat, right? Like an insect scapegoat. Like honestly, 4 instead of 2. That sounds kind of better, right? You can do some fun stuff with that. Neobug, Ojama, Orca. Orca can be fixed. This is definitely one of those cards you look at Invasion Chaos and you're like, oh, this is a card that you'd build a deck around, but it's also not the card you would necessarily want to build a deck around because it kind of sucks. I would argue that in the case of Orca, it should be something more like sending from your hand instead of tributing, because that requires so much setup for this card, right? Like send one. Ah. Send one torpedo fish from your hand to the GY to destroy. So that sounds way better. And then alternatively, send one cannonball spear shellfish. Destroy one speller trap. Trap card on the field. See, all of a sudden now it's like, all right, you can distribute one, then you can start like pitching and recurring and like doing cool stuff like that. So then you can use like salvage, which makes like better use. That sounds way better because like you need the two kind of weak cards anyway to make use of it. So I think that's good enough. Pinch Hopper is the kind of thing that needs a fix just purely based on its wording, right? It's like it needs to be like if, I think, something like that. It's because it's a optional when. So it should be an if effect, right? Because like I really like Pinch Hopper. I think this card's like really cool. And granted, there's a chunk of times where its effects can still fully come into play, but it would be way better if you didn't have to worry nor think about that. So let's just change that to an if. Because the effect is really good. It's like any insect monster? Hell yeah, I'll take that. Prickle Fairy, another weird like plant insect thing. So it protects your insect monsters from battle. Good defense. And it changes that monster to defense. This seems fine. Primal recycle. During standby phase, 300. It's like non-monster card in your grave. Return it to the bottom of your deck. I think recycle should just be any card. And maybe have it be during your end phase instead. Or like once per turn effect. What would be the best way to like go about this? Yeah. At the very least, we're gonna make it any card. Yeah, because like the life points doesn't really do anything. Maybe like once per turn, select one card in your graveyard. Because it's like, the whole idea is like you recycle resources, right? So once per turn, it's like, all right, you can do like a certain play with that, right? Whether it's like searching for something in the deck. This opens up combo potential like way more because now you can just be like, oop, throw this card back in real quick. I'll accept that. Robin Zombie Challenge. Each opponent sends the top card of the deck to the graveyard. That's fine. That's I would say Sasuke Samurai, but he's kind of used for some like really janky combos. I would hate to take that away. Uh, we've gone through like some of these cards already. So if I'm like skipping past some of them, that's why. That's why you have like Strike Ninjas like down here, and we've had to like create new ones up here. Soul Absorption. People have cited this in things. I'm pretty sure. Spatial Collapse I always thought was a fun card. I think. Let me read it. Card, but your opponents have 5 of those cards on the field as long as cards are sealed. Total number of cards. Yeah, this is just like a really janky card. So it's like you can't have like 3 monsters and 2 back rows or 4 back rows and 1 monster. It's super janky. I enjoy those like chaotic cards. Spirit of the Pot of Greed. When this card is in face up attack position, you can draw 1 more card. Isn't that what was that wasn't Goblin? What was Goblin of Greed? That has nothing to do with that. What am I thinking of? Avatar of the Pot. You can pitch a Pot of Greed draw. I mean, I guess drawing 1 more card is like I get. I guess that's fine, given like what the card is supposed to do, right? You just get an extra card. This guy needs a discard effect. I'm calling it. Where he shouldn't be on the field, right? His stats are like so horrendous and everything. Should be if a player activates Pot of Greed, you can discard this card to activate this effect. Draw 1 card. Boom. So now it's like your opponent doesn't get a benefit from it. You can keep it in your hand. As like a sort of like a hand trap of sorts. And then you get a draw card. So it's still kind of shitty, but this at least makes its effect more viable. Because you can also use it, when either player uses it. So you can use it when you use it or when your opponents use it. Comes a funny card in Goat. I mean, yeah, I mean the problem is that pot agrees at one both players' decks. So let's say it's two in a game, and this card essentially does nothing otherwise, right? I mean, you could search it out with like Sangan, and it is a light. It is a fairy, so you could play like fairy decks. But it's you also need to have like the right situation arise. So it's still not good because also just drawing one card. It's like why not just run Jar of Greed? If you're in that desperate for draw power, right? Just run Reckless Greed, but it does have some use, I suppose, given it's a monster and you can chain it to things basically. Siltbird's fine. Stray Land. This card, I think, also could use a fixin'. Yeah. Again, the idea is not to make every card like that's necessarily playable, but at least ones you can consider more. Um. So this card's weird, right? It's like a mini scapegoat, but you have to use it during your own turn, which you can only set. So it's like, how do we fix this? Because it's so basic in what it's doing. And I understand the issue of like unlocking the summoning restrictions because that just opens like tribute plays out the wazoo. Yeah, I mean, any level one can be used for relinquished anima. What do we do with stray lambs? You can summon, but not attack. Potentially, I would still be a little worried that it would like get uh like a monarch's effect. But attacking might be the way to go. Attack locking could be a way to go. Because I really like this card. I wish it had more of a use. You cannot attack the turn you activate this card. So it does still have a lock like Scapegoat, but it's a different kind of lock. And it says the turn you activate this card, meaning you cannot attack and then use this in your main phase too. Still tribute. Is that for spirit monsters? Yeah, but that's spirit monsters. Yeah, I mean tributes already have a problem. I mean the OCG, like they had Fiend Sanctuary, which basically did the trick for them. If you wanted to like run stuff like that. Eventually Fires of Doomsday whenever that came out. When did Fires of Doomsday? Phantom Darkness? Okay, so like very end of the GX era. But freaking that was guy I what was the card I just said? Fiend Sanctuary. Like that was in the OCG early on. That was like 2002. You just summon this card out and just tribute over it. Busted. Yeah, so this will give like tribute something to do, right? Oh, this card, there for some reason, early fire monsters have all these really dumb things going for them. Because the thing in the crater has a really cool effect, but the problem is it has like nothing to summon off, like nothing worth summoning. Like the thing in the crater. It's like, what are you summoning from this? Like twin-headed fire dragon or two-headed fire dragon? What's it called? Yeah, like I think this is the best card you can summon off of it. Flame Ogre. Flame Ogre. Nope, this would be released in 2006. I'm pretty sure this is the best card you can summon off of it. Like by goat format. So, by like early ish Yu-Gi-Oh. Like this is like I believe this is the best card. Because I think Infernal Flame Emperor can't be special summoned. Yeah, it cannot be special summoned. Because I know I know like the idea is like just kind of relatively all encompassing, but like for a lot of these cards, you definitely keep goat format in mind because that is like the culmination of all these older cards, right before Cybernetic Revolution and future sets really started to change the direction of Yu-Gi-Oh. From like what it was. So I would say for the thing in the crater, I would give it just more places to summon from. So like maybe from your hand or graveyard. So that way you can at least like revive certain things and set it up. Graveyard, except for himself to avoid looping. So I was contemplating maybe like the deck, but that feels a bit too powerful. Yeah, or graveyard, which means Molten Zombie. He doesn't need to be a zombie type anymore. So honestly, we can just delete. We don't need to fix Molten Zombie now, because seeing the creator kind of fixes that. Didn't we have another fire monster on here? Burning Algae, was that? Burning Apache's Pyro, right? Yeah. Yeah, so now you got like options of things to like revive if you want to, and you don't have to like keep stuff in the hand. I think that makes this thing much better. The thing in the crater. Don't even know what that thing is. It's kind of cool, right? It's like little right there, hanging out, chilling out. Yeah, deck might be too powerful, but at least like giving you option from like the graveyard too. Make it an if. Oh yeah, Don't want to take any of those tributing things. If this card. There we go. The importance of ifs. Thunder Crash. This was on my thumbnail for this stream. If y'all didn't know. So this does like a weird self Raigeki, but does burn, which is shitty. I feel like this should be like a Raigeki, but for like face down monsters. You know, like a reverse lightning vortex. Destroy all face down monsters. Honestly, let's just throw all face down monsters on the field. That feels a bit too strong. That might be too. This might be too generically strong. Increase the burn. The problem is like you're losing like all your monsters. I mean, I guess it's kind of good. That's like if you want to get rid of certain things on your field. Maybe increasing the burn is the only logical thing. Because the idea of the card is like it's Thunder Crash, right? So it's like you're crashing into like the thunder, I suppose. So 3 monsters like 1500 damage. Yeah, that seems more reasonable than like 900. If you raise damage, maybe decent dinos. Potentially. I mean, you're also destroying dinos, which dinos, like modern dinos, want to be destroyed. Yeah, I think 500 makes it more reasonable to consider in certain decks. Tower of Babel. I like how this tower looks like it's about to like fall over. Like it's like it looks like a big palm tree, doesn't it? Like there's gonna be a bunch of leaves at the top. Each time your opponent activates a spell card, put a spell counter to the fourth, destroy is going to 3,000 to the player that activated that. Time you or your opponent. Stone Tower Temple. Hey, Majora's Mask. Freaking look at this tattoo right here. Fierce Deity Link. This is kind of again, I like these like really stupid cards. Right? It's based just like a chicken game. And I appreciate cards like those. So much make like a deck of nothing but these like really stupid cards. Trap Jammer. People don't play this, right? Opponent activates a trap during the battle phase. It's kind of cool, right? It stops like a battle phase trap, and it's no cost either. It's just really specific. I don't think that's inherently bad. Because it's during the battle phase, so it doesn't even matter which player battle phase. Ultra Evolution. It's fine. Yeah, I'm sure it's all like some use in like side decks and stuff. I just can't think at the top of my head. Witch Doctor of Chaos. Remove your opponent's monsters from the graveyard from play. Magic Jammer, but for traps. Well, I guess I got 7 tools of the bandits, but I mean, yeah, that's a fair argument. Right? It's Magic Jammer, but for traps. That is a very valid change. Zane's Revere card. I mean, you can still use it in the battle phase, but you just get a little more things to use it on, which does make it better, but still keeps like the identity of the card. I feel like Witch Doctor Chaos should banish at least 2, because 1 just does not feel like you're getting enough advantage from that. So flip, select 2 monster cards. Because you can also go banish your own 2 for it plays. Oh no, why did I go over Trap Jammer? There we go. Whoop. Up to 5. How about 3 then? I feel a little iffy with 5. Just because like it is a flip effect, right? Like it's not like a blank spell card. I feel like flip effects kind of have like a relative power to them. Because this one's like you set it and then plays like the mind games and having a monster on the field and stuff, and can also punish your opponent from like doing a play. Yeah, there's different uh there's different game regarding flips than there is to just spell cards, right? But I wouldn't go over 3. I think 3 would be like the max number I'd feel comfortable with for a card like this. Because I think was it Lady of Salem Flames? She like discards. I don't know. I don't think that's a card we changed at all. But like that card gets rid of a bunch too. Like it mills 3, right? Well, this card's a flip. It says flip. These prints I'm showing right, these are Invasion of Chaos prints. It'd be later when they're classified as flip monsters. But yeah, this current print from the 20th edition, anniversary edition, does have flip. Anything with like flip on it, that like FLIP, the capitalized. But before effect, like before it's flipped, that doesn't make any sense. Yellow Luster Shield increases defense of all monsters by 300 points. This card just might be unfortunately stuck as bad because if we bumped up to 500, it's basically just Chorus of Sanctuary, and I feel like this card is supposed to be played alongside Chorus of Sanctuary. That's my iffy thing about it. Why I feel like I'm opposed to like increasing that. Yeah, because Chorus of Sanctuary just increases defense. Now, granted, Yellow Luster Shield is only your own monsters, but come on. Come on. I think this card just might be unfortunate to like kind of have to keep it the same, I think. And Zero Gravity's fine. I think that's all the ones for Vision Chaos. It's about the same as Dark Crisis and Pharaonic Guardian. Which in some ways is a little surprising because like Dark Crisis makes sense given there's a lot more archetypal issues. Panic crying over here. I mean the card was different in the manga, you know. Just generates a defense. A defensive shield. I feel like over between this and next stream, I'm probably going to do Ancient Sanctuary and maybe Soul the Duelist. It's hard because after Ancient Sanctuary, all the sets are like relatively small, but I know a lot of cards are like bad. So might do Ancient Sanctuary, Soul the Duelist, and then save like Rise of Destiny and Flame Eternity for next week's stream. BLS attacks 3. BLS, you can use each effect once per turn. There you go. He's fixed. I'm liking all these fixes we're doing. I like streaming it too because I like bouncing ideas off y'all because I feel like you also help out a lot of these too. But yeah, I'm a little surprised. So I feel like a lot of the ones with Invasion Chaos, a lot of them are a lot more obvious. Some gave us different routes we can go with. Some were a little confusing, but we managed to get there with minimal scratches. But it's really cool just like going back and looking at like all these cards. Like all this work that we're doing. Just be like, what if these cards were just like better? Like I know, like we're going through like all the Yu-Gi-Oh sets again, right? Like what we're doing before. Should be hex proof. BLS should just be like just remove the light and dark. Just banish any card. Banish any card from 2 cards from your graveyard. No, banish 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard. Hexproof Black Luster Soldier. Because it was surprising like there wasn't like that many like banishing stuff like we had to like change. Like there was a couple of cards, but not nothing too terribly much. All right, well, I think I've had a lot of fun, but I think I gotta call it a stream here since we finished the set, and I'll get some more work done, and then we'll. I should have. I'm gonna try and get it in the zone for Sunday, but otherwise, next video won't be uploaded until the 16th, in which you can watch it right now on my Patreon for those who are not already a Patreon member. But this month is OC June. OC June. So we got a lot of cool stuff for that. Yeah, thank you, Bob Air, for stopping by. Appreciate you, as always. Also, I get a stream in today. In Top Deck guy should also be back next week. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, as far as that, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Have a